Hello and welcome to. Wait, no, that's the wrong. I didn't do movie phone, did I? Does anybody remember that? That's like the AOL beep, the little screaming.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember that? Am I the only one? I feel old. I remember seeing what was it? You've Got Mail in the theater.
I saw You Got Mail in the theater.
Right on. We're not. Well, I'm still old, but.
I had this really moment of like existential dread earlier this week where I went to an event where basically everyone was in their early 20s, and I thought I could be everyone in this room's dad. That didn't sit well with me.
Like my kid, my potential child could be drinking right now.
Yeah. So, doing great. 2022, yeah. Here we come.
Awesome. So I'd like to welcome everybody to Treasure Hunt Live. If for those of you who don't know, my co-host today is the illustrious White Whale Comics, or as I like to refer to him as Rasputin, because
because I can't be killed.
Pretty much, yeah. Especially if you think you got kids that are 20. But we're talking all this nostalgia for a particular reason, because I bought comics at a library. Now, for those of you who are not aware, a library is a public-funded building filled with books that you can borrow.
For free.
I know these concepts could be new to some people. What were you going to say?
I said you can borrow them for free.
For free, yes. All you have to do is give them some information about where you live so they can come find you if you decide not to do that.
And furthermore, you can even stay in the comfort of your own home and check out audiobooks from the library from your phone.
And music. I'm sure they've got some streaming as well.
So it's a great underutilized resource.
It really is. And it's one that shows up on your tax bill every year.
So you're paying for it, might as well use it.
Exactly. Now, obviously, they're not selling what they've got, but in this instance, there's a particular library around here that called the Fremont Library, and it's in a town called Mundelein. And one of the guys I know from my local comic shop had mentioned it. Probably shouldn't have, but as it turned out, the time that I went to go check this out, they had just recently received donations of 2 full comic book collections. So old parents out there who still have the collections of your children, if you don't want to throw them in the trash, donate them to a library so that we can purchase them there instead of dumpster diving, which is always a much more pleasant experience.
And it benefits the library on top of that.
And it does. It benefits the library. Because so this is actually went to an organization called Friends of the Library. And they sell the stuff and they make a profit. And that profit goes back into the community, or at least into the library to get new stuff. And so what's great about this is it's like I found tons of stuff that I didn't have, right? And there's a reason why I asked Alec to be on this, is because of the community members that I know, he is one of the few that I think would probably be able to actually identify almost every book in here. Because
put me on the spot now.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's you and I have an affinity for 80s independent books that a lot of people just aren't even aware of, or hadn't seen, or haven't seen in forever. So I wanted to share this with somebody who shares my passion for older independents, at least to that particular point. We do have a couple people hanging out with us. It's going to be a slow start. We got Tom's Comic Books and Reviews and the Grandmaster, TJ Slabdragon Watson. Glad you made
out that his library has free coffee.
It does. Apparently it does. And that may be something that happens a lot across libraries in America. So I want to show this off before we get started. I picked this up when I was in your neck of the woods. This is my official Hogwarts wine glass that I got from going to Hogwarts, mind you, at Universal Studios. We have a delicious red tonight. But anyway, to the books. Vancouver Comic Junkie. How's it going? All right, so there's a mix in here, right? So there is definitely, a lot of independents, but there's also some Marvel. There's also some DC. So we're just going to start with a chunk, and I'm going to hope that we can get through this. First thing I'm going to say is there was a large amount of Moon Knight Volume 1 and the whole 5-issue Volume 2 that I had gotten. And they're just kind of in my Moon Knight collection, and it was really going to be a pain in the butt to kind of sift those out. But I had gone through those early because at the time I wanted to build, a Volume 1 Moon Knight run just to kind of see, if I could do it on the cheap. And I did. Because the other nice thing about this is that every single one of these books cost me $1. So that's always beneficial.
I mean, nowadays that's kind of hard to find in general, even if it's junk.
That is true. That is very true. So this is a classic series. So we'll kick this off right. So, that's 2. That's 1. There we go. We'll kick this off right. This is like I said, this is a classic series. I'm gonna go big here. That should be good. So we've got Marvels from Alex Ross. So this is the anodized covers, right? So
where the black section of the cover is the separate.
Yeah, exactly. Here, I'll just pull this out. So you've got this slip cover over the top, which is really cool. This window cover. The same
kind
thing
of like
back,
almost the first Virgin cover,
right? Yeah, damn near. Because you got this, and it's all card stock, which is really nice. And then of course it's just amazing Alex Ross artwork.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when that first came out, it was such a big deal because, certainly mainstream comics didn't look anything like that, and so
no, they certainly didn't.
Kind
and
of
artwork,
yeah,
it's just fantastic. And this was redone recently with I believe some like backup, information about the way the story was laid out and the pencils and everything. And this is honestly one of the best ones of the whole run. I think this is everybody's favorite with Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy, right? Commemorating the death of Gwen Stacy. But this next one, I found out is actually a 2-parter, and I still have to track down the first one. And I wasn't even aware of this for the longest time, but it's Ruins. And it's apparently it's a follow-up to the Marvels thing. And I'm not entirely sure what the story is about. But this is book 2 of 2, so I'm going to be on the lookout for number 1.
Is it the same creative team?
I believe so. So who do we have as the writer on Marvels?
I believe it is Kurt Busiek, right?
Could have been. Warren Ellis wrote this.
I very well could be wrong.
Yeah, which is just all the more reason to get it. I mean, look at that work there. Warren Ellis wrote it, and we have Cliff Nielsen, Therese Nielsen, and Chris Moeller as the artists. So it's a little bit different, but still just, incredible.
The first series was written by Kurt Busiek. So
right on. So I want to check that piece out because that's very interesting. Here's another one that's not well known, but does have a lot of really good stuff to it. Original stories in most cases. It's Marvel Fanfare. That's just issue number 1. That's the only one I grabbed. Probably some other ones I could have gotten. This is a cool one. It's a square bound. Superman War of the Worlds. Is it War of the Worlds? Yeah, War of the Worlds. Very cool. So it's like Superman going up against the War of the Worlds robots.
That's a one-shot prestige format, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, that was the thing is that back in the 80s, there was a lot of prestige format books that got released. I think probably the most important one was Batman Killing Joke.
I mean, even into the 90s, because Vengeance of Bane was a prestige format.
Prestige format, but not the card stock, interestingly.
Yeah, correct.
So this is one of my favorite books. And if you haven't read it, you really should. because this is like the unauthorized origin story of Lex Luthor, and it's this one here.
Yeah.
And it's written by a guy I knew back in Vegas. Oh God, what was his name? James Hudnall. He's written some stuff, but I think this is probably one of his best works. But it's a fantastic story, and I love the cover. I mean, that painted cover is just fantastic. But that's a really good book. Another one from the childhood, the Nam, #1.
Oh yeah, that series went on for a pretty good stretch, didn't it?
It did, and one of the things that I liked is I think around the 50s, issue 50 something, it crosses over with the Punisher.
Yes.
So the Punisher shows up in the Nam, which I thought was very cool. So I'm trying to track down those issues. I don't want the whole series, but like I remember reading like the first 20, 25 issues of when I was a kid, around the time that Full Metal Jacket came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always a cool thing for me. And
but I mean, if you buy the first 25, you're going to end up buying the whole thing.
Yeah, probably. Or I'll just get the rest of it, Here's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Firestar #1.
Jim Starlin.
Yeah. And he took off from Marvel. Yeah. Or actually, no, this was part of Marvel. This is Epic Comics. So this was an imprint from Marvel. So he was still there when he did that. Well, I mentioned this time that I was at this library because the funny thing is this was 3 years ago. And I'm cleaning out my comic room and I come across, I was like, oh my God, I've had these books forever. And these are like such cool stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'll just, I'll jump on and I'll show everybody before I go and put this stuff away. Some of it I already had put away, so I kind of dug some things out. But here's another good one. Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. And you got Power Pack going on down there. So it's the full 4-issue mini.
And
Sue
Storm is just
get Havoc taking out that poor kid.
Sue Storm is just helpless on all of the covers.
Right.
Very just laying on the ground in every one of them.
Crying. Here's some goodness. Here's some 90s goodness.
Oh yeah.
Hitman #1. Not one, but 2 copies.
That's Garth Ennis, isn't it?
It is. Great Garth Ennis stuff. Like, leave it to Garth Ennis to make a Hitman in the DC universe, right?
Pre-Preacher.
Pre-Preacher, yeah. Way pre-Preacher. So, did you watch Comigories from Monday?
I haven't. I couldn't watch it live, so I haven't gotten a chance to go back and watch the replay.
It's taken me till today to actually finish getting through it. And
I hopped in and said hello, but that was about it.
Yeah. And congratulations to oh my God, I cannot remember her name. She does the show with Comics Will Break Your Heart. Oh my God, it's terrible. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Anybody remembers, please put it in the chat. I want to throw a shout out to her. Congratulations for winning. But one of the ones that came up was very Christmas themed. One of the ones that came up was elves. So I think I would have nailed it with this Elf Quest #1.
Oh, nice.
So this is when Marvel took over, right? Because originally it was under, was it Fantagraphics?
I believe so.
All right, we're getting into the serious stuff here.
And for some reason, ElfQuest, the first appearance has started going up. I don't know if it's just because of like all indie book spec has gone, people looking for the next thing, but I haven't heard about any sort of relaunch or option or anything like that. No,
nothing here either. Oh, here's a good one. I think you're really going to appreciate this because I'm tracking. I'm about this close to getting the first appearance.
Oh, heck yeah! Does it have the trading cards in it?
I don't know. Let's find out. But it's a really nice shape.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Indeed, it does.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. So I won't get the green label from CGC if I send it in. Because it's probably about a 9.4. It's it's got a couple of spine ticks on it. Yeah. It's pretty much all I can see. But
hey, yeah, I've heard 9.4 is near mint.
It is near mint. Did you know it?
Yeah, that the Deadline, her first appearance was a book that I think I was just too late on.
Right?
I started. It just really jumped up there a couple years ago, and it has not come back down.
No, it has not, and it's a British book.
Yeah, and it's a magazine size.
And in a magazine size, which also, if you send one into CGC, will take some time. And speaking of British superheroes, Miracle Man.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize on the lighting. I did not get my other lighting set up. But so this is I believe this is when they took it over from the original British format, and it was over at Marvel now. So it's that one. I'm a huge Painkiller Jane fan, so finding this one was pretty fun.
Oh, nice.
I'd never seen this one before. Painkiller Jane and Hellboy, and this is from the original Event series, Event imprint. So this is like early on. This is definitely like from Volume 1, Painkiller Jane.
That's what like that Joe Quesada Ash comic was out on, right? Event.
Yeah. He had Ash, and then he and Palmiotti did 22 Brides and Painkiller Jane.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that gets us into we got Batman, Hellboy, and Starman.
Yeah.
So we got the DC Dark Horse crossover. Yeah, Mike McNeil is.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, you can't get much better.
You really can't. So that's issue 1 and 2. Now, what's really cool is I farmed out a bunch of Hellboy, including his first mini, Seed of Destruction. And I think is it the first Lobster Johnson and Abe Sapien is in this?
First Abe Sapien definitely is. First Lobster Johnson is in. Shoot, I can't remember offhand. Let me look it up real quick because.
So I got 1 through 4 on that, and these were a fun read.
Yeah, all those early, especially the early Hellboy miniseries are. Lobster Johnson first appearance is in Hellboy Boxful of Evil #1.
Foxhole of Evil.
Boxful
of Evil. That might actually be in here. And thank you, Lasso Mars. Absolutely, the comic girl. That was great. She did a great job. She very much did not think that she was going to win on that. Boxful of Evil. Let's see. Oh, we'll get to it if it's in here. No, I don't do anything that relates to Donny Cates. Thank you. And yeah, I would still need to dim it to match Alec. So we got the Wolves of St. August.
Nice.
Issue 1 and Wake the Devil. Oh, so I think that's actually that was a prestige format one shot.
Yeah, that was a good story.
Wake the Devil. That's 1, 2, 3. I love these covers. These covers are just very cool.
Yeah.
4 and 5.
That cover is so good. One of my favorites.
That is when he's got the full horns going.
Yeah.
Look at that. Very cool. All right, what else do we have in here? This is the last of the Hellboy. So we've got Autopsy in B flat. Or no, almost Colossus. Autopsy in B flat is it's like a little side story going on there. This is almost Colossus #2, 2 of 2. Christmas special.
Yeah, I love that cover too. Looks
Very
so
Dickens.
looks so classic. Yeah, it looks like it'd be like an old book illustration.
Right. Have you ever watched The Man Who Invented Christmas?
No.
Great film. It's the story of Charles Dickens and how he writes A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. I can't remember his name, but the actor who did Legion,
Oh yeah.
Plays Dickens in it, and yeah,
it's a dramatization, not a documentary.
Yes. Yeah. And hey, look.
Hey, look, there it is.
Lobster Johnson. That's 1 and 2.
I love Lobster Johnson. He's such a fun character.
So I do need to finish reading these. I haven't gotten very far in them, but they've been good. And I didn't, have I didn't have any Hellboy, to be honest, in the past. So anytime you see these,
but I mean, those for $1 a piece, you can't go wrong. Even if they weren't worth anything, which a couple of them are, they're just like such good reading.
They are. They're very good. Anytime I see this, I have to pick it up. Especially if you can get the whole set, which I was one short, but I was actually able to find that last book. And it's Marvel Comics Presents, and it's the full story of Wolverine as Weapon X.
Yeah, Barry Windsor Smith.
Barry Windsor Smith. Did you do? I know he does the covers. Did you do the interior art as well?
I think don't remember. I haven't read it in so long, but I think he does.
Yeah, this is the first issue, so I got this actually from another vendor. But yeah, so
and that's really spiked recently too.
It did. It really did. And I think there's a lot of anticipation for the X-Men, and the expectation of who's going to be the new Wolverine and how are they going to do him in the MCU.
This is the kind of spec that I just can't get behind, because you could buy that first issue of this series for $10 for the last forever. The last 20 years, it was a $10 book, and then all of a sudden, one person says that it's a spec book, and now it's $100 book.
And I totally agree with you. It's terrible that it's going on like that. I am happy to see that it's getting some notoriety, right? Because it has been
because
remiss for a long time.
But I mean, are people buying it to read it, or people buying it to grade it?
Yeah, that's true. Anybody who gets it should read the whole story. It's a great
absolutely
story.
So good.
Really is. I actually got. Go ahead.
It really was one of those stories that, along with the Frank Miller miniseries, that kind of really developed Wolverine's character into something more than just a short berserker hairy guy.
Yeah. It wouldn't because Claremont didn't even like him, right? As a character, he wanted to write him off, and Byrne had to kind of enchant Claremont to not do that. In his popularity gained, and then when that miniseries from Claremont and Miller hit, it was just really took off. Hey, Kevin. Jackson Record. Yeah, I'd write and draw the entire book.
And I've said this before, but I think Barry Windsor Smith is super underrated as an artist. Especially for his era. He was just so damn good.
Absolutely. A lot of detail, right?
Yeah.
And not your standard cross-hatching kind of detail, it's very well done. This next set, I actually got 2 of these, and I AOK'd one to Reggie Simmons, because he didn't have any DC early on, and I was like, all right, well, here's something he might enjoy, because it's Mignola and it's Jim Starlin, and he likes the cosmic stuff. So it's Cosmic Odyssey, and it's a 4-part miniseries, featuring everybody in the DC universe, and it is a fun story, but it literally has everybody in it.
Yeah, I've never read that, actually.
Ends up here with Dr. Fate. So it just goes across everything, but solid story. Good stuff.
Solid creative team, so it doesn't surprise me.
Oh, absolutely. When I found this book in the collection, I was really, really praying that I was going to find a couple other books, but sadly I did not. So I had to just go with this one, but it's a Caliber Christmas featuring the Crow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because if I could have come across a Caliber
Crow one or a Caliber Presents, sure.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, for $1.
You'd never beat that find in your.
No, it'd be like finding it'd be like pulling an AF-15 out of a wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great one. Original, pencils by what's his name? James
O'Barr.
James O'Barr, yeah. But very cool Christmas cover. So I dig that.
Yes, TJ, I would still say that even if he never drew for Valiant.
Nice. So here's a couple of fun ones. I think this one's. No, I don't think this one's a lenticular, but the next two are. So this is Tales to Astonish featuring Hulk, the Wasp, and Hank Pym.
It's a acetate cover, though, isn't it?
It's a what?
Acetate cover, I think.
I don't recall, but it's worth. Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, it's a very, very shiny, glossy acetate cover, but it's on cardstock, so it's not like it's not like the. Oh no, it is. Yeah, here we go. So we got another early Virgin. But yeah, there we go. And the back is too. Just stayed together a little bit better. So very much like the Marvels, but a cool book with really good interior panels. So yeah, I dig it. So this one will stay in the collection, definitely. Great, just really well done graphic art. Not something that's like rushed on a monthly or something like that. So that's cool. These two are fantastic because everybody's seen these, the artwork, but I don't know if anybody's actually seen these lenticulars.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Superman Forever, and man, I tell you what,
Alex Ross once again.
Yeah, Alex Ross. I wonder if we can get if I can get it to change in the camera. Man, that is difficult. Well, trust me, it moves.
I mean, you can tell that it's moving. It's just hard to make out the individual images.
It really is, yeah. And it's cool because it goes from like Clark Kent with his glasses going into it to pulling and then taking off with the cape on the drag behind him.
Yeah, it's like a triple lenticular, right?
It is, yeah. It's very cool. And again, a prestige format. It's a nice thick one. And then this one is cardstock, but it's not prestige. This is part of the Batman No Man's Land. Well, again, with an Alex Ross lenticular. So,
which, I mean, take this with a grain of salt because I have not read those issues since they came out, but I remember really enjoying that Cataclysm No Man's Land era of Batman.
Oh, those were great. That's how you do a crossover well, right? You're telling one story about an entire, environment. And we lived through the 90s Marvel annual crossovers where they gutted you for for $4 or $5, or $2.50, when a book's normally 75 cents.
Right.
So that was always difficult. These are getting a little popular. Firestar 1 through 4. So I always understood this as the first appearance of Firestar, but it's really the first appearance of Firestar in continuity.
Right, because she is in that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends book, right?
Exactly. And that one's getting all the shine right now, but I think this one, if there is something that's done with her, I think this one will.
That cover's really cool.
Yeah, and it's a great series too. I enjoyed it. Oh, here's some Image love.
Yeah.
A couple of copies of Pit #1. Oh, wow.
Pretty good.
Can it with the dad jokes. Here's a good one. The Max.
Yeah, I love the Max.
That was always fun.
Remember the animated show that came out? It was on MTV.
Vaguely. I don't think I ever actually watched it.
It's pretty cool. They definitely kept to the art style.
Did they? That's good.
Yeah.
Hellstrom, Prince of Lies. I love this cover.
Yeah, really unique.
Actually, Hellstorm, yeah. So this is the Hellstorm one. So this is from the 90s. That was good
Don't
stuff.
see too many covers with pentagrams on them like that.
You don't. I think it was even a first for Marvel. It's like they're like, Do we bring back the swastika or can we go pentagram? I mean, so this was kind of a rough copy. I think I got a better copy later on, but Hal Jordan is the Spectre.
Yeah, I love that cover.
It's a great cover. It's is this Ryan Sook?
I think so.
That doesn't look like Sook's normal work because Ryan Sook got tremendously better over the years. Yeah, this is back in the days when the artist actually did the cover. They didn't just pay the guy to
Can you
do
imagine
copies.
Can you imagine such a concept?
But yeah, great book. So if you're not aware, Hal Jordan dies.
Spoiler alert.
Back in the 90s, he died relighting the sun because, you had the Tom Brady cover. He had all the power rings to become more powerful, to defeat death. And then, and he became the Spectre. And then after that, or is it before that? So this is 92. This is 2001. So the series before that was actually done by John Ostrander. And this one glows in the dark. So that skull in the background is made of bones, along with all the skeletons in the bottom. And this book actually glows in the dark.
The 90s, man.
90s, right? Who'd have thunk it?
Every possible idea to put stuff on a cover to get you to buy it.
Right? That was a random Thor book I needed. Here's a fun one. So again, going back to Alex Ross, right? He did a mini series, kind of like an epic. It was more like a maxi series, like 12 issues, called Earth X, and then that spawned out two more. One of which was called Universe X, and this is the Cap one shot, which is really actually hard to find.
Yeah, it is
for that series. And I've been trying to track down. I think I want to say I'm close to done on all of the offshoots of it. That kind of like really kind of finishes off the whole what happened to the Marvel universe in the future when everything gets mutated. Remember that one?
Oh yeah,
Gangland. I remember when this book came out. Everybody's like, "What the hell? He's on the crapper on the cover." That's new.
Back when Vertigo was doing really good,
gritty stuff,
subversive, gritty stuff, and not, when was it Karen Berger? Is that her name? Was the editor?
I don't know. To be honest with you. All right, we're gonna save that one for later. All right, getting into some stuff that's specced out pretty hard lately. Aliens versus Predator.
Yeah, all those. Once Marvel obtained Aliens, everyone started saying like, "Whoa, well, what about Predator? Where's that going?" So,
right. Well, they got both of the properties actually.
Oh, did they?
They launched the Alien. They launched the Alien series first, and they haven't done anything with Predator yet. So that's issue number 3 and 4. Oh, a little haphazard. So here's another one of those Universe X specials. So this is the Fantastic Four with really a very cool cover.
Yeah, for sure.
Really like Bohemian Rhapsody style. But that one's cool. And then, some other ones I was missing. Earth XX. I want to say this is the story of either Captain Marvel or Adam Warlock. And I think it's it's Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Guessing from that star there.
The star, yeah. And then the 1/2 with Nick Fury.
Love those issue 1/2.
Right, the Wizards.
Yeah. Again, what a 90s concept.
Right?
Zero isn't enough. We got to do an issue half.
Yeah, 1/2. Get half. Here's some more 90s goodness. 2 of my favorites, Gen 13 and Gen X.
Man. When I was a teenager in the 90s, both those series were right up my alley.
That's, absolutely.
Art Adams cover, right?
It is, yeah. Arthur Adams.
Yeah. who is also, I would say, underrated.
Absolutely. Incredibly
Like people recognize how good he is, but you just don't hear his name come up in the conversation of like all-star artists, and I think he really should be.
No, yeah, he certainly should be. Oh, here's a good one. 2 blockbusters.
Yeah.
Another prestige format, Incredible Hulk and Superman. Oh, here's another fun one. Terminator.
That's cool.
This is another prestige format, but I don't know. Matt Wagner worked on it, so that'll be different. There's just like a lot of like really just interesting stuff that I haven't seen around or haven't seen in a very long time. Darkseid versus Galactus: The Hunger.
Yeah.
From John Byrne.
All those crossovers were really cool.
Yeah. Again, prestige format, just like these. These are great. I love Adam Strange. That's one of the most underrated characters in the entire DC lineup, in my opinion. Just a fun character with a lot of really good stories. So it was a 3-issue arc.
Yeah, I think
it's
DC,
all done.
DC.
Go
ahead. I was just saying, I think DC has like quite a few of those characters that, like on paper, are really good characters, and people just don't know what to do with them for some reason. I feel the same way about Booster Gold.
Yeah, like Booster Gold could be a lot better, but they always just kind of make him the joke.
Right.
So the cool thing about this is that this is actually done by Andy and Adam Kubert. So I'm wondering how much of the art duties they're sharing on that, because it looks like it's written by Richard Brunning.
Yeah, maybe someone drew it and someone inked it, or maybe
I don't know. But the Kuberts are highly underrated. They really are. I mean, everybody loves Joe Kubert, but Andy and Adam both have done a spectacular job in comics over the years.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a really cool variant for Hulk 2 that just came out this week that I think Adam Kubert did.
Yeah. So speaking of Predator, that's
hey, that for $1, you can't beat that. That's an expensive book nowadays.
It is, and this is a second print, so so that one kind of not quite as high, but
which is weird because like sometimes second prints are worth so much more because they're low print, and other times people don't want them because they're not the first print. Like
right,
craziness.
And we got Aliens #1.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I want to say this is also a second print. I don't think I was lucky enough to get. Yeah, this is the second. Oh, this is volume 2 as well. So this is volume 2, second print. And then we got another Aliens vs. Predator. What's this? Okay. So this is also, it contains another Aliens vs. Predator story. Yeah. But we're going to leave this aside because we're going to talk about that later, because that's really something actually pretty big.
I think people really sleep on a lot of those Dark Horse Presents. I don't know if they have a whole lot of spec value, but there's some great stories in a lot of them.
Yeah, and surprisingly, there's a lot of first appearances in these Dark Horse Presents, right? So like be on the lookout for these, because when I came across them, I was like, oh, and like turned out to be like a whole run. So I'm like cherry picking the ones that I want, the ones that I know are something. Like this one here, Dark Horse Presents #24.
Yep.
So this is the official first, the origin of the aliens, I want to say, in comics. 34. So this is another aliens story. So these are always all hot, right?
The covers are so cool.
They are. And then at 35, this is Predator. But this is the big one to get. This is 36. This is the first Aliens vs. Predator.
Yep.
So this one here, that's secondary, right? That's just a great Aliens vs. Predator story. But the original first is in here, and then there's a cool variant cover for it as well. So this is back when variants weren't cool, or were cool. One of the two. I can't remember.
Who can keep up?
Right. Who can keep up with it? 69, another great Predator cover.
And it's 69, so
yeah. I want to say this is Volume 2, Dark Horse, or maybe it's just Dark Horse Comics, not Dark Horse Presents. But yeah, they're really great hardcover cover.
Series.
Yeah, these are all just awesome. I'm gonna hold on to these for a second because it's kind of, all this stuff's kind of out of order. Who doesn't love zombies, right?
Yeah.
I sold all these off and I bought the covers book, the Marvel Zombies Volume 1, the covers, because all these great Arthur Sudum covers, homaging classic, works. And I have a bunch of prints, actually. He did some DC ones that he sold at the cons.
Yeah.
And I have those signed from him. Like I have one of the Death of Supergirl on.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
It's so good. But she's got an apple in her mouth. It's hysterical. But yeah, so got that one. So I started kind of slowly picking those back up.
Those are going back up in value now too.
Oh, they really have, yeah. And I kind of just want the ones that are cover homages of classic covers, which is like basically all the printings of the first series, and then like a couple of the later printings in Volume 2, I think.
And that first series was written by Robert Kirkman, right?
It is, yeah.
Astro City, so
Astro
good.
City. That is incredibly underrated.
And I think that first issue is incredibly undervalued.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Wolverine 100 foil. It shows
gimmick covers.
Gimmick cover, yeah, because you can't even get the foil to work really well. But so this is when I want to say this is the first Wolverine issue after he loses his adamantium, or is this when he gets it back? It's been a while.
I think 75 is when.
75, yeah, 75 is when he loses
it. So he must be.
He's got it for. It's gone for a while.
Quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, like he was into the 100s. Oh, this is when they tried to put it back in him and it didn't work. Yeah, because it took Apocalypse to give him back his adamantium. Jackson, no, 1/2s are not worth more than number 1s. They are rarely worth the paper they're printed on. All right, TJ, you're gonna have to help us out. What's the big thing about which book? We're kind of moving through this.
The Dark Horse Presents that you put aside.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he does. That is the epitome of the 90s right there.
Yeah, Marvel, the New Universe.
Marvel's New Universe. I grabbed 2 copies just because it was, they look nice. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back. Miracle Man in 3D. Okay, coming at you.
Heroes Reborn came back, so you never know. The New Universe might be next.
Who knows? These in here. All right. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of Dark Horse Presents in here. A lot. Let me see if I actually have these in order. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, 58. Wait, is that 59? And this is the 50th anniversary special. That was the end. Huh. Looks like something's missing. Huh. That is interesting. Or maybe it wasn't part of it. I don't remember. Anyway, we'll try and work this out. So I have 2 copies of this. And 54. It's 54. Do I need another one? 253, 54. Yeah. Yeah, there's there's an issue missing, or it's somewhere shuffled out, but we'll get through it. Anyway, so super cool. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but Sin City by Frank Miller is actually a collection of stories in Dark Horse Presents. And it runs through 51 and down into like 64 or something like that, and concludes in this guy here that TJ pointed out. So this is actually the full Sin City story going all the way through here. Hey,
the first series.
The first, yeah.
later.
The original Sin City. So this is the first appearance of Sin City in comics. Is this issue right here, 51? I believe that's the first issue of the grouping. But yeah, so it just goes through here. So it's all these backup stories in Dark Horse Presents. You know, a lot of classic Frank Miller covers and such. Like this. This is great, right?
Daredevil homage.
Daredevil homage, yeah. With Marv at the top there. Sorry, too far away from the camera. There we go. So if you see these, like I said, it's Dark Horse Presents number 50 from Volume 1, number 51 through, I want to say it's 62. The yellow bastard. You get into this one here with Marv in the electric chair.
Yeah, that cover is so good.
This is a great cover. And then I'm going to say it ties up with this one here. This is the 5th anniversary special. So, and then, so I gotten that, and I had gotten most of another set. So I was trying to complete 2 sets on that guy. But for some reason, it looks like I'm missing 54. And, no, 56. Yeah, it looks like I'm missing 56 for some reason.
So according to Key Collector, which
isn't always right.
Take that with a grain of salt as well.
Right.
50th anniversary special is the first official appearance of Marv. So I don't know if that came out first.
So maybe that landed somewhere in the middle here. Because I don't know if Marv was in the first story or not. Because I haven't read it yet, and I intend to, but it's in there somewhere.
Either way, great run to have for sure.
Absolutely.
Those early Sin City stories are just, while not necessarily politically correct in every way, are really good reads, and the artwork is tremendous.
That it is. It really is.
Slightly misogynistic, but that's to be expected from Frank Miller, right?
I love you, Frank. All right, I want to get this last group together properly, because these are important. Oh, there it is. It's the annual. That's what it is. That's 56. So that's part of the story. I got another copy of that. But 56 I don't have 2 of. That's 10, 22. Okay. So we'll finish up some of the Dark Horse Presents. We'll get into close this off with some other stuff. So this is cool. So this is Dark Horse Presents issue number 1. And what's the key about that?
It's the first somebody.
Concrete.
Is it?
I believe it's the first
that one.
It's
I know.
I
was gonna say I know Concrete was in the early issues, but
I think he's in this issue.
In this issue.
On the nose. So first appearance of Concrete. Like I said, they're anthology style, right? So that you're going to get multiple stories in each of these. We got issue number 3. This would be a good time to pull up that Key Collector app and tell us what's key on these, Alec.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what I can do.
So Andrew Bonafide says that he thinks that Big Fat Kill was the first storyline for Sin City. Right on. Hey, Steven Spock. TJ says 5th anniversary is the first issue. Well, that's good because I've got 2 of those. So,
yep. So number 1 is first appearance of Concrete. Number 2 is first cover appearance. Number 3 is the origin of Concrete.
All right. So this is the origin of Concrete here. And then this is a really important one for those of you, those Jim Carrey fans out there. This is Dark Horse Presents number 10. This is the first appearance of that little guy right there, the Mask.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And then what's 22?
First appearance of Duckman.
That's it? All right. Here's a Duckman.
Key Collector. That was a animated show for a while on USA, I want to say.
Right. And then we got first issue of Concrete, the ongoing series. And here we go. Another Concrete full color special. Just, grab some ones that were interesting from the group. Oh, yeah. So this is Dark Horse Presents number 90 with a Hellboy story.
Yep.
So
I think that was
really special about it.
Issues 88 through 91 was that story.
Oh, is that a full story going through there?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out on that. Put those together. All right. Yeah, you know what? Well, it's a good time to do this. So this is something that I found that I wasn't even looking for, and I was just so pleased when I got it. I got home, and I was going through, and I was bagging these up, and I was like, oh, wow, this is fantastic. Hellboy by Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
That is a Bernie Wrightson cover. Dig that a lot. So there's 2 of them. I think I want to say that this is also a Wrightson cover.
I'm gonna
crack that one up.
Is it Bisley?
You know what? I think you're right. I think that's Simon Bisley. But this is definitely a Wrightson cover.
Yeah.
So you got Bernie Wrightson doing an Aliens cover. How cool is that? And what's really interesting is he seems to be choking this alien out. But yeah, this is super high grade too. I think it just needs a press. Might get a 9.8. But I'm definitely gonna send it in no matter what grade it gets, just because that's just such a great cover.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I adore Bernie Wrightson. He does fantastic work. So that's just a great cover. Yeah, let's check this guy out. Nice prestige format again. What a nice Aliens book. And it doesn't say who did the cover. All right, so this is actually a collection of stories originally published in Dark Horse Presents 24, 42, 43, 5th anniversary special, and 56. Covered by Simon Bisley, yep.
Nice.
Good eye. That's why I had you on, because So have you read much DC Elseworlds?
A few. Gotham by Gaslight, Superman Red Sun.
Red Sun's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, a couple others.
So found these. I love the Elseworld stories, and anytime I can find them, I definitely pick them up. So being able to find these, I thought was great. They got Batman Houdini.
That's cool. I never read that one.
I'm sure you'll love this one. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips with Dave Stewart. Batman's Gotham Noir.
Oh, that looks awesome. I've never seen that before.
For you Judge Dredd fans out there, Batman Judge Dredd. Now, Judge Dredd was one of the early comics that I read. Judge Dredd, martial law.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the grittier stuff. That's number 2. And then you get another one. You get Judge Dredd, Judgment on Gotham, right? So it's bad enough Ra's al Ghul's going after Gotham. You don't want Judge Dredd coming down.
I am the law.
Yeah, Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Mr. I am the law. Speaking of 80s. Oh, you'll love this. Warren Ellis, John Cassaday. Planetary Batman.
Yeah, Planetary was really great when it first came out.
Not for kids.
No, or The Authority. Those both came out like pretty much right at the same time, and both, especially like the early issues, were really great.
So this is pretty funny. DC Christmas with the Superheroes. This kind of reminds me of like a DC treatment of like a Fred Hembeck Marvel book.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Superman.
Lead.
His package is lead. So figure out what's in there, buddy. But it's like a thick one, so I'm guessing it's a collection of stories. Cool stuff. Now, all right. So this last set before I get to the hardcovers this is cool for me, but I still have not been able to find the first appearance.
Oh.
So I was able to snag 2 copies of number 1, but it's
nice.
The 1, 2, and 3 of the first Madman solo stories. Again, all prestige format. But yeah, like I saw. I haven't found. Was it Creatures of the Id? I haven't found that, but I did find Graphic Music 1, which is the first color appearance of Madman.
I've got both of those.
I found that at C2E2, but it was like it wasn't in like a condition I really wanted.
The Creatures of the Id.
Yeah. Well, no, not the
Graphic Music.
All right. So Andrew's telling. Notice the shoes on the cover, and then turn to the back cover. So, well, it just looks like one. It looks like. Oh yeah. So Robin's only got 1 shoe. But
they all got their stockings hung by the chimney with care.
But apparently they're all only wearing 1 shoe at this point. So that's
funny.
And then what does it say? It says, Adams, Anderson, Bridwell, Carty, Dillon, Friedrich, Garcia Lopez, Giordano, Haney, Levitz, Miller, Mitchell, O'Neill, Swan, and Ween. So yeah, it's a collection of it's like the back one. It's Neil Adams Batman.
Nice.
So that's cool. Yeah, collection of stories. Batman in Wanted, Santa Claus, Dead or Alive. This is funny.
Now, do you know that there are 2 Graphic Music miniseries?
Is there?
Yeah, there's one. They're spelt differently though. One is spelt Graphique Musique with a Q-U-E, and the other one is with a K.
Yeah, so this was the one with the K. And I recognize the cover.
Yeah.
But there's something different about the other one, right?
They're both like early Alred stuff, and they both have something to do with Madman. I can't remember which one is the first one.
Gotcha. So after all of that, I still say that these 2 hardcovers were the best finds of the entire haul. They are first prints of the Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah,
Stanley and Mobius from 1988. So this got reprinted in what came to be Volume 3 of the Silver Surfer. It was a 2-issue epic imprint miniseries. But it was originally published in this hardcover. And there's actually
Mobius is just like next level good.
Oh, absolutely, especially for the 80s. Like it's very like he did a lot of heavy metal stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did he Den from heavy metal?
What's that?
Did he do Den the character Den?
I don't remember.
Remember the movie Heavy Metal?
Yeah.
So the character Den started off as a character actually in the heavy metal magazine. But yeah, so just I mean, you can see the quality. Sorry, the lighting does suck, but just yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic story. So basically, it's Galactus comes back to Earth and gets everybody to worship him like he's a deity. And Silver Surfer tries to stop him.
In my opinion, some of Stan Lee's best writing.
Mm-hmm. And he hadn't written anything in like ages. He was just editor in chief. I think the last story he wrote before that was Thor 192, which was also a Silver Surfer story. So I do believe he went on record as saying Silver Surfer was like one of his favorite characters that he created out of all of them. Oh, Den was Richard Corbin. My apologies.
There you go.
And then this is just like super cool for me. It's Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth by Grant Morrison.
And Dave McKean.
Yeah. Dave McKean.
Who did all of the Sandman covers. Or quite a few of them at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely feels very Sandman. So this is a mature audience's book. And it's like walking through Arkham Asylum on an acid trip. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's a heavy story for sure. Yeah.
Just like some of the graphic work inside.
Definitely kind of encapsulates the insanity part of the insane asylum.
Right. I mean, some of the Joker work is pretty heavy, but this book is impossible to find. Like even getting second and third prints of the soft cover is incredibly difficult. But finding the first print of the hardcover, near impossible these days without paying a pretty high price. And it's just the dust jacket's in perfect condition.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
The bottom edges have a little bit of wear on them, just from sitting on it, like getting pulled up in and out of a shelf. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. So that's the bulk of it. There were a couple of pieces that I didn't get a chance to pull out. One of them was the 3-issue magazine format from Frank Miller. I want to say is it Hard Boiled or Hard Boiled, right?
Yep.
So I found those 3 issues, and then I got a Usagi Yojimbo #1.
Wow. That
I had graded, and it came back a 9.6.
Wow.
Yeah. So
for $1.
For $1. So that was a pretty big thing. Was finding that Usagi Yojimbo.
Tank Girl #1 too. That's
absolutely.
That's getting harder and harder to come by.
And all the stuff in here is pretty high grade. I mean, I didn't come across anything that I thought was ragged or anything like that. It was all
definitely taken really care of. And on top of the good value that you got out of that collection, it looks like you got a lot of good reading stuff too. So it's the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really fond of the Hellboys. Some stuff is duplicates for me, like that, Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. I got a set of that. The Firestar, I got a set of that. The Aliens versus Predator stuff, I'll probably part with, except for that Wrightson. I'm keeping that Wrightson. I actually had to drive to my storage to pick that up because I forgot that it was there, and I wanted to include it because it was just I couldn't do this without including that one piece because it was so cool. Yeah. Very, very good stuff.
That's a hell of a haul.
Yeah, I'll say. And so now I got to do something with it, right? Because it was just in the stacks of boxes in my comic room that I'm clearing out to remodel during the wintertime. So they had to go, and I'm like, you know what? Before I start chopping this up and selling off some of it and doing that. I think it's worth showing off and showcasing because there's some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know? So Bonafide's asking if that was if Arkham Asylum was Morrison's first work at DC.
I'm not sure offhand. I mean, it must have been pretty early because that came out quite a while ago.
It did, yeah. Let's do first Grant Morrison DC work. It did actually get the first Frank Miller. The first Frank Miller work at DC, and that's it's a war comic. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, yeah, his Wikipedia page is pretty deep. I'm not going to go digging through that while we're on there. That doesn't help. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Alec, for hanging out with me. And
thanks for reminding me. That was definitely a cool haul to see.
Yeah, I dug it. I mean, I dug going through it. It took me hours to dig through all this because there was just boxes and boxes and boxes. 2 full collections, the guys, had from obviously like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, good way to spend a day, though.
Yeah, there's worse things to do. It could be digging ditches. So we're going to sign off, and Alec and I are going to hang out a little bit in the backstage. But thanks, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us. And we will talk to you soon.